Hello everyone, welcome back to the MyRSILife.com YouTube channel. I'm your host Mitch, and today I'm going to tell you about 5 books that can help you cope with RSI. Before I get into it, I will say that I don't have the books here with me like on a shelf. I did them all audiobook style, which I really loved. So if this video compels you to buy these books and to read them, and this channel compels you to want to support the channel, I invite you to purchase the books through the links that I provided in the description below. So thanks a lot. Let's get into it. All right, first up, we've got The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. This one starts out by explaining how habits are formed in your brain and why those habits stick. And it gets really sciencey and has a lot of really cool examples. And then once it establishes, that understanding, it gets into how your conscious brain can start identifying those habits that are causing negative consequences, and then helps you make a plan to interrupt those and ultimately replace those bad habits that are driven by your subconscious a lot of times. Replace those bad habits with habits that result in positive consequences for your life. And if you've got RSI, my money's on you have some bad habits in your life that probably need to be changed. So I really couldn't recommend this one more for RSI folks. Next up, for book number 2, I present The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. One of the main ideas presented in this book is that nothing is ever as good or as bad as it seems. And I think this is a great message for folks with RSI. It talks about, again, human brains and how human brains tend to over-dramatize everything that's happening to us. And yes, it's a money book, and it talks a ton about investing and about wealth, and those are all great things, and I recommend it for those reasons. But the reason I'm recommending it to RSI folks is that it teaches us how our brains are biased and how our brains and our decision making especially are very largely influenced by factors beyond our control. It also talks about how a lot of outcomes for everybody, successes, failures, no matter what, are still very likely to be the result of luck. And even when the odds look very heavily in your favor, the ball could still land on the downside. So overall, there's no need to keep beating yourself up. And this book's a great reminder that in the long run, things are going to turn out just fine. So that is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Third book that I recommend is The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. Now, if you've read this book, it's probably very obvious why I'm recommending this to RSI sufferers. And that is because it's full of ideas of how to be more creative with your use of your time and with your career. It talks a lot about how to build sources of passive income, goes into a lot of detail technically on how to make them scalable and how to outsource and things like that to take the burden of work off of your shoulders. When I read it, I was just amazed at some of Ferriss's ideas on how to get thinking about my career, especially getting around my career with my injury. And your career is more flexible than you think. Your career is more flexible than you think. Not only that, but the book, especially I want to highlight this, the book gives one of the best tips and most useful tips for RSI sufferers, I think, and it is to get yourself a virtual assistant. Because you can't use your hands to do your job anymore if you have computer-related RSI. You can hire someone, hopefully, to do the work for you. Computers can be operated remotely from anywhere in the world these days. Tim Ferriss in The 4-Hour Workweek talks a lot about how to effectively hire virtual help to get what you need done. The 4-Hour Workweek is a must-read for anyone who wants or needs to make a big change in their career. That includes RSI sufferers. Book number 4, we have The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I will say that this book has some great advice and examples for navigating social arenas, reading people's body language, and being able to identify ways to get what you need when you feel stuck in a certain situation by using your knowledge of human behavior. The best way to be content and confident in your career, especially with something, like RSI, is by being flexible. Flexibility is power. And you can attain more flexibility for yourself in life and in your career by understanding how power works. And I found that a lot of the strategies described and exampled in this book are totally applicable to the workplace. The art of persuasion, the art of understanding people's unspoken desires can make your life easier when it comes to getting what you need from your employer and from your care providers. It's also a very entertaining read. It's got all sorts of examples from history, from all the famous historical figures. So it's a great book if you're a fan of history, like I am. But anyway, having computer-related RSI and being unable to work can make you feel powerless. And that is one of the worst feelings in the world, is powerlessness. And you can overcome these feelings of powerlessness by reading this book and by studying the laws of power. Finally, book recommendation number 5 is Mindfulness in Plain English by, and I'm going to try not to butcher this here, Bhante Henepola Guarantana. This one is all about meditation, specifically Vipassana or mindfulness meditation. I recommend this book and meditation practice to RSI sufferers because it's all about becoming self-aware and being mindful. You're probably like me in that you have a hard time, your brain has a hard time calming down, and we have a hard time not thinking about work or not thinking about the hustle. And we get really focused on one thing, one goal for a really long time, or we're trying to juggle all sorts of things all at the same time, usually at a computer, in my case especially. And we just have poor awareness of our stress levels, our moods, our physical bodies even. So mindfulness and the practice of meditation can help improve your awareness of all those things. Daily meditation has health benefits as well. It can increase your attention span, it can increase your willpower, it can relieve stress. But most importantly, like I said, it helps you become more self-aware. And I read this book very early after I became injured with RSI, and it was a really great way to kick off my recovery journey. Mindfulness for me has definitely helped me identify the patterns and habits in my life that were causing these disruptions or unbalances. I don't meditate every single day. I'm probably like a 3 to 4 day a week meditator, about 5 to 10 minutes per session. So that's mindfulness in plain English. And that about does it. Thank you everyone for watching. If you have RSI and want to share your reading list, go ahead and put it in the comments below. Thank you so much. See you next time.